Welcome to my channel, Ken here. Today we'll talk about the Pedal Power 3 Plus, the new power supply for pedals from Voodoo Lab. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this stuff. Let's go. So here's the box that Voodoo Lab sent me of the new Pedal Power 3 Plus, the brand new power supply for pedals. Let's check it out. There it is. Pedal Power 3 Plus. Let's see what's in this. And there's an IEC cord for the United States. And here are some of the Supreme power cables for the pedals. Here's the actual unit. It's nice. 12 volt, 9 volt. 500 milliamps, that's great. What else is in the box? I guess you gotta take this whole thing out. And a manual. Whoops. Stickers. I highly recommend you put stickers on your guitar case. And a nice little thank you note. Yeah, so this American-made power supply from Voodoo Lab is a lot lighter than the old toroidal power supplies. Also, another thing that's curious about this thing is that all the voltages, the 9 volt outlets has 500 milliamps, which is at least twice as much as the old power supply. So this should be able to power any pedal that you have. It also has 12 volt, and you can do 18 and 24 volt by using special cables and combining two outputs. So they claim that this is very noiseless, and it also is possible to carry this around the world without having to do any kind of voltage switching to whatever place you are in the world. From 100 to 240 volts it accepts on a standard IEC. So that's pretty convenient when you're on tour and you don't have to worry about your pedal board getting the proper power. Now on the front here you have 10, I guess this would be the back, I don't know what the front is, but I guess this is 10 outlets for 9 volt, 500 milliamps. It has one here for 200 milliamps, but you can switch it to 12 volts, and you have another one here that switches between 9 and 12 volts, but also 500 milliamps. These two outlets here are very interesting. You can add an expansion module, an X-Link they call it, with either 4 additional or 8 additional outlets for the 9 volt 500 milliamps. Now there's a couple of claims that's in the manuals about this. One of them is it has, and I'm going to read this out loud here, powers the most sensitive vintage analog stomp boxes with zero noise and optimal tone, as well as power hungry high current digital effects. This is good. I mean, it's very lightweight. It also comes with a bag full of cables of different kind. Let me open this thing. So you have a bundle of cables here. A nice assortment. If there's a red cap on it like this reverses the polarity between plus and minus. So the black ones here, the center is negative, which is the standard thing we use on almost all pedals, but at times you'll have one that's reverse polarity, so they'll give you one color code, a red cable for the reversal of that polarity, so the center pin will be positive. It says here in the manual that these 12-volt expansion ports are unfiltered and not isolated from each other, unlike the rest of the ports here are isolated and filtered. So basically each pedal has its own port. So there's no cross pollution of noise between the outputs. But apparently the X ports are not filtered. So I have a dingbat pedal board from Voodoo Labs here. So in order to mount this, you have a bracket here. Gotta go here. You have the unit. It's gotta go here, and there's some screws over here. So I'll do it right now. Let's get the bracket on first. The side screws in first. And there it is, secured in the pedal board the way it's supposed to be. We have the input for the IEC here, and some of the older models they had a convenience outlet here. This one doesn't have that. So now I have the power supply mounted on the pedal board and hooked up to the pedals. Now this is my studio pedal board that's all about tone and color, not about actual effects such as effects, delays, reverbs, etc., choruses. I usually do that in the box, but this is all about color and tone from the amps, and about splitting it so I can do direct recording and all that on the fly. In the manual it claimed that it'll drive vintage pedals no problem. Well, I don't really have any true vintage pedals. The oldest one I have is this flanger from the 80s, and it clearly drives it without a problem. The pedal that draws the most current or amperage is the Freakout 400 milliamps, and again there's no issues with it whatsoever. Well, you might be asking, why aren't I stomping directly on the pedals? That's because I have everything in loops. This is also a Voodoo Lab pedal board, so I keep the cable lengths down and noise down. But I have to say, there is no noise from this. I'll turn off the gate, and this is, I mean, there is no issue here with noise. There's no issue with driving any of the pedals that I hooked up to it. Pretty tough thing to test because it just behaves exactly the way you would expect and the way they specified. I mean, I don't have every pedal available to me to test on, but so far it just does the job. With the X-Link also, there's just not an issue here. So big thumbs up. My opinion is it's lightweight, more power, and easy to mount. It just works. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.